it's Janelle Waz, and welcome to another Star Trek video. We've had a lot of action on Star Trek The Next Generation up to this point in my episode rankings. Riker facing down the Borg, Beverly kidnapped by a group of Mr. Sheffield cosplaying terrorists, Pulaski gets old.
Behold, the ravages of age.
But now, it's time for the relationships, the family drama. Long-lost sisters appearing on the Enterprise, fathers you didn't know were still alive, brothers you left behind in Season 1, old girlfriends, and surprise kids you didn't know you had, Worf.
Are you my father?
I am your father.
It's TNG Season 4. If Season 3 was when the show started to get good, then Season 4 was a very solid season. We're into what I call the sweet spot of TNG, Seasons 3 to 5 where the show was at its height. Those upper tiers are sure to get more episodes as I continue to rank the episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is Season 4. Make it so.
Bravo!
Wonderful! Wonderful!
Bravo!
But before I go further, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I talk a lot about Star Trek, video games, and whatever else I feel like talking about. And if you'd like to help support the channel, consider becoming a member. Be great to have you aboard. Alright, the elephant in the room is, yes, Season 4 did premiere with The Best of Both Worlds Part 2 after an incredibly long summer of 1990. Now, my big problem with this TierMaker template is that it really should have split parts 1 and 2 up into two separate tiles. But I would still put part 2 in S tier. It does a pretty good job concluding the story that was set up in part 1. Part 1 was much more the tension and the build-up. Part 2 is more action. But it does have a nice ending with Picard trying to look like the strong captain, you know, ready to go back to work. But you can still tell he's kind of dealing with some of the aftermath of his time with the Borg. So, I'm gonna call Best of Both Worlds S tier. Family, no question about it. It's my top episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. S tier. It's not moving. I love that episode a lot. Even more so than the Best of Both Worlds. I would probably spend an entire video talking about it. Lovely episode. Brothers. You know, Next Gen Season 4 had a lot of family dramas going on. It's like the first, chunk of episodes was just family drama, family drama, family drama. But, Brothers deals with Data, Dr. Sung, and Lore, Data's evil twin brother.
I am not less perfect than Lore.
I am not less perfect than Lore.
Enough!
Brent Spiner, who probably should have gotten 3 separate paychecks, but didn't, probably. I like the episode a lot. I'm gonna call it an A-tier episode. I'm gonna put it... I think I'm gonna put it above Measure of a Man. It's a pretty good episode. And Brent Spiner has a lot of range. I don't think he gets enough credit in the entertainment industry, because he can play multiple characters even in the same episode. Suddenly Human. I just did a video about that episode. You should check it out. Basically, it's Picard deals with a teen custody battle. The problem with Suddenly Human is that it does have a lot of great moments, but the ending is kind of frustrating, and that's why it's not super high on my list of top Star Trek The Next Generation episodes. I would probably call it B tier. I'm gonna put it... It's probably better than Haven. It might be technically a better episode than Booby Trap, but I do like poking fun at Booby Trap, so I'm keeping Booby Trap there. Remember Me. It's a Beverly Crusher episode, and I feel like there aren't a lot of Beverly Crusher episodes in the show. And it actually gives her something to do. Basically, the episode is Beverly gets trapped in a universe all by herself, and it was all Wesley's fault.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have tried.
Focus on the present.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Beverly fan out there. I mean, she's alright as a character, but she could have been a lot more interesting. That's why in some ways I kind of prefer Pulaski because she was a more interesting character. But Remember Me is a solid episode. It's probably another B tier episode for me. I'm gonna say it's probably better than Suddenly Human. I'm gonna put it there. Legacy, the one with Tasha Yar's sister. I like the friendship between Data and Ajara Yar. They have really good chemistry with each other. Obviously not romantic chemistry because, well, Tasha.
It never happened.
I like watching the episode, seeing Data and Ajara's friendship develop, but the problem is the ending of the episode kind of ruins that because it turned out Ajara was working against them all along. So Data feels betrayed, I feel betrayed, I'm sure the rest of the audience feels betrayed.
In all trust, there is the possibility of betrayal. I'm not sure you were prepared for that.
It kind of puts a damper on the episode, and I would have actually liked to have seen Ajara show up as like a recurring character, but if you're gonna do that, you can't have her betray everyone. I'd say it's probably better than Remember Me because, again, I'm not a super big Beverly Crusher fan, and I do like seeing the friendship between Data and Ajara in Legacy. Reunion! Rest in peace, Kalar. So yeah, that's the episode that introduces Worf's son Alexander. There's the whole Klingon political struggle going on. I also did a video on this episode, and you should check it out. It's a great episode, though it does kill off Kalar way too soon in the show. I would have liked to have actually seen more of her down the line. Even though I'm not thrilled with the fact that they killed off Kalar, it's still a pretty good episode, and she and Worf have some really good scenes together. So, I'm gonna put it as an A-tier episode. It's a great episode. I'm gonna put it right next to Sins of the Father. And it does kind of work as a continuation of Sins of the Father. And both those episodes go together really nicely. Future Imperfect, the one where Riker gets knocked out and wakes up older and he has a son he never knew about. Why do I feel like that's every Saturday for him? Future Imperfect, it's an okay episode. Yeah, it's an alright Riker episode. I'm gonna call it, it's another B-tier episode. Might see a lot of B-tier episodes for season 4, which is good. It's good if season 4's got a lot of B-tier episodes, that means it's less in like the lower tiers. But I'm gonna say it's probably better than... Yeah, I'm gonna say it's better than Legacy. Final Mission. Yes, it's a Wesley episode, but I do kind of enjoy the episode. It's also Wesley's last episode as a regular cast member of the show. It also kind of confirms my Picard is Wesley's father theory.
I've done it all because I want you to be proud of me.
I was always proud of you.
I mean, come on! Why would Wesley go through all that trouble just to impress his father's friend? I mean, come on! Come on! Anyways, probably a B-tier episode. I'm gonna say Final Mission is probably better than Peak Performance. I don't know if I'd go as far as say it's better than Q-Who, but it's pretty good. The Loss, the one where Troy loses her powers and spends the entire episode going, "You don't know what it's like to be normal!"
How do you people live like this? We get by pretty well, actually.
Now, as much as I poke fun at the episode, it did have some potential to really say something about what happens when you develop a disability all of a sudden and how you adjust to that. I don't think the episode does the greatest job of it because, let's face it, everybody survives without empathic abilities in real life, so it does make Troy seem like she's kind of complaining about not having an advantage over people. I think the idea is a solid idea, it just wasn't executed very well. It's probably a high C-tier episode, even though I do kind of enjoy watching it, if only to riff on it, but yeah, it's not the greatest episode. Data's Day. The episode has a lot of really cute moments about what Data does in his day-to-day life, but it's also where Chief O'Brien marries Keiko, and his suffering knows no end. That poor man. He could have gotten away! I'm gonna call it, it's probably better than Booby Trap, better than Data Lore. I'd say better than Final Mission. Q-Who is kind of tough to beat. Yeah, I'm gonna put it better than Final Mission. The Wounded, S tier. We're in S tier. Well, it's probably a little bit better than Sarek, but it's S tier. Great episode. It's a great Chief O'Brien episode. It's one of the episodes I would recommend watching before watching DS9. Well acted by Cole Meany. I don't know how to pronounce that man's name. I'm so sorry. Great episode. Watch it. Devil's Due. That's basically Picard suing this planet's version of the devil. I'm not a fan. It's probably a low C tier episode. Oh, Clues is the one where the Enterprise crew is knocked out and Data's the only one that knows why everything's happening. Like, they notice all the little differences, like everybody's clock is off, and yeah, that one, it's kind of a little bit of a mystery. And Troy was also possessed by the aliens that didn't want them in that area of space. Yeah, it's one of those episodes I'm okay with skipping. So I'm gonna call it C tier. No, I'll call it better than... It's better than The Survivors. No, it's better than The Most Toys. First Contact, the one where Riker screws up observing a planet of aliens that didn't reach warp yet. It's a pretty meh episode for me. Carolyn Seymour is in it, and she's great because she's always great whenever she appears in Star Trek. But it's kind of a meh episode for me. It's not bad, it's just not great. It's probably better than Evolution. I'll give it that. Galaxy's Child, Cringe Fest 2024. Or whenever I did that video, I think that was a few years ago. Yes, it's a tough watch, but it's also kind of hilarious to watch it. I'm putting it next to Booby Trap because it is a sequel to Booby Trap. I'll put it under Booby Trap because it's probably a little more cringy than Booby Trap. It's kind of hilarious, but at the same time, man, the writers did not do Geordi any favors. Which is a shame, because Geordi is a likable character. Like, why they would do that to him, I don't know.
Your hair, it's different.
Like, Geordi comes across as like a borderline stalker in that episode. Night Terrors! I made the mistake of watching that episode before bed once. Not a bad episode, but, yeah, it's one of those ones I don't mind skipping. But I'm gonna say it's better than Evolution. Alright, Identity Crisis I definitely don't have a problem skipping. It's kind of a dull episode for me, to be honest. It's probably C tier. It's probably better than Heart of Glory. Actually, maybe Heart of Glory is a little bit better. I'm gonna put it there. It's kind of a dull episode for me. The Nth Degree, another Barclay episode, and I do like a good Barclay episode. Once again, you see Dwight Schultz's range as an actor, something I wish we could have seen more of in TV shows. I'm gonna say it's an A tier episode. Maybe... I'm gonna call it better than Deja Q. No, maybe it's better than Hollow Pursuits, because Deja Q is pretty good. Cupid, yet another Vosh episode, but it's also a Q episode, and Q is always fun to watch. Yeah, the main thing that Cupid has going for it is that the Enterprise crew is dressed up like Robin Hood and his merry men. But other than that, it's an okay episode. I'm gonna call it like, it's probably a B tier episode because it is fun to watch, but I'll probably put it better than... It's better than Remember Me, I think.
Sir, I protest. I am not a merry man.
The Drumhead is definitely another S tier episode, but where am I putting it S tier? This might not go in accordance with my video, my top 10 Star Trek The Next Generation episodes. But I think I'm gonna put it under The Wounded. Yeah, those two might have gotten flipped around. I can't remember off the top of my head because it's been a few years. It's a nice little drama about an investigation gone witch hunt. It's well acted. Gene Simmons, the actress, is in there and she does a great job as Admiral Satie. Picard has that great speech towards the end and then Satie just completely loses her mind over it. Very, very well acted episode. Highly recommend. Half a Life. Loxana and Timothy were perfect for each other. Why did he have to die? It's heartbreaking, but I'm gonna call it an A tier episode. I'm gonna put it better than The Offspring. Great episode, thoroughly heartbreaking though. Okay. The host does introduce the Trill, which Jadzia Dax on DS9 is one of my favorite characters on the show. But the host itself is a pretty lackluster episode. In fact, most of what's established about the Trill in that episode ends up being rewritten in DS9 anyways. Also, that's a Beverly episode, but it's not a very good Beverly episode. Yeah, it's probably C tier. I'm gonna put it... I'll say it's better than Symbiosis. Yeah, I'll go with that. The Mind's Eye, or Geordie Does Zoolander. Okay, probably technically the Manchurian Candidate, but it's also Zoolander. You know, that's one of those episodes that, when I watch it, it doesn't really stick in my head all that much, other than the fact that Geordie went to a symposium and got kidnapped, because that's a recurring theme in Starfleet. Just because I can't remember it all that well, I'm gonna call it a high C tier episode. Yeah, I know I've seen it, but it just hasn't really stuck with me very much. In Theory, also known as Data's Crazy Girlfriend. And I did a video on that episode because... Oh, Data. Why? The thing is, Data getting a girlfriend is probably supposed to be the B plot of the episode, but for me it ends up being the A plot because I don't even care what the Enterprise crew is dealing with that week. I just have to know, are Data and Jenna gonna make it work? Of course they don't because she's crazy. Now technically she was on the rebound, we can give her that, but man, she was like hypercritical of Data. It's another one of those episodes where I'll watch it kind of to roast it a little bit. So it probably ends up being a C tier episode. It's probably better than The Loss. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. Okay, did they do for Redemption what they did for The Best of Both Worlds? They did. That's another two-parter that they put into one tile. Why are they doing that? Why? Okay, Redemption, you get the conclusion to Worf's discommendation, and he finally gets his honor back in the Klingon Empire. You also have the introduction of the Duras sisters, and they're always fun. But yeah, probably not my favorite two-parter, but it's alright. I think putting Sela in there kind of dragged it down a little bit for me. You know, Tasha Yar's daughter from another timeline. No, Tasha was from another timeline, but the daughter's in this timeline. It's weird. I'd probably call it a high B tier episode. I'll put it above The Enemy. No episodes going below C tier? Not too shabby. I feel like I ended up putting a lot of Season 4 episodes in the B tier. But that's not a bad sign if the mediocre episodes rank fairly high. Heck, D and F tiers didn't even get any new additions. And it's only going to get better with Season 5. Stay tuned for next time as I continue to rank the episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. And as always, thanks for tuning in to another Star Trek video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
I'm not cringing.